look at the whole liberty movement around the focal point, Ron Paul, as almost like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized.
Hello, hello, my friends. You have found Flashpoint Radio. I am your host, Jay-Z, and I am coming to you on this wonderful 75-degree Super Tuesday from St. Louis, Missouri. It is Tuesday, March 6th, 2012, and the only difference between today and the other primaries and caucuses that have gone on prior to today is now the GOP and the establishment has 10 states to defraud and 10 states to pull off election fraud and vote rigging. Don't have any misconceptions. They are doing it. Before I get into Ron Paul and Super Tuesday, I want to give a little advice if you're looking to prepare. This, my friends, is a Mosin Nagant 9130 bolt-action rifle. This rifle can be picked up for about $100 to $125, depending on condition. It shoots a very powerful round that is well suited for big game. And it's extremely affordable. The ammo is cheap. I'll put the link to some sites below on it, but it is a very good starter rifle, especially if you're looking to get into hunting and you don't want to spend $700 on a 308 or $1,000 on a 30-06. This round is more powerful than a 308. It comes in right below a 30-06, so it is a very well-made gun, one of the most widely produced guns ever. It's a Russian sniper rifle, actually beat the Nazis in World War II. But away from guns, I like guns, and I'm excited to get out and shoot that with my new scope that's coming. But we are going to get into the news for this Super Tuesday, and we are going to start, since it is Super Tuesday, with some primary news. This comes to us from thedailypaul.com, a supporter-run blog that is a must-read for anyone who is a Ron Paul fan. Warning, voter fraud in Ohio. This comes to them from a user. My wife went to vote today in Marysville, precinct, Paris 1. When she got there, she asked for a Republican ballot. But when the ballot was loaded into the computer, it came up as a Democratic ballot. A Democrat ballot. She asked for help and got a new ballot. Only after one of the election volunteers said, quote, "The same thing happened to my husband." So this is one woman at one polling location who talked to one person, and that one person knew someone who had the same issue involving vote machines. These electronic voting machines can be scammed. Look at the documentary that was done for HBO on voter fraud. I can't think of the name offhand, but if you search HBO documentary voter fraud on start page, it'll come right up. Watch it. This stuff has been happening for years, and they don't want to do hand ballots. They don't want to do regular ballots because they can't scam regular ballots as much. Why would Ron Paul be losing? We don't have any results as of yet, but why would Ron Paul not fare? He's getting full coverage in the media, right? Well, this comes to us. This was a headline, top line on Drudge Report. This comes to us from Yahoo News, an AP article about Super Tuesday. Headline, Super Tuesday, voters put imprint on GOP race. I'm going to read you the first paragraph. Mitt Romney is angling to solidify his frontrunner status, and Rick Santorum to keep it a two-man race as voters in 10 states put Super Tuesday's imprint on the Republican presidential contest. Newt Gingrich just hopes to keep his struggling campaign alive with a strong showing in Georgia. Intro paragraph to an article. Super Tuesday, four-man race. No mention of Ron Paul. It's a three-man race, according to Yahoo. Well, I read the entire article, and there's not even a mention of Ron Paul's name. Not a mention. Until one line before the last paragraph, this is it. It says, Representative Ron Paul of Texas was focusing on Tuesday's caucuses in Alaska, Idaho, and North Dakota. He got one line. Newt Gingrich got upwards of 6 paragraphs. One line at the very bottom of the article when everyone already got done reading the article. Then you throw Ron Paul's name in there at a point when no one's even going to see it. Really disingenuous Yahoo News. Disingenuous Thomas Beaumont from Associated Press. Why don't you click on Thomas Beaumont's name in the link and send him an email and say, why one line for Ron Paul when he has the second most delegates out of all 4 candidates? Why one line? So, he doesn't get any media exposure, and he can't win. There's voter fraud, but this comes to us from Infowars.com. Headline, Ohio poll, Ron Paul most competitive against Obama. This was a poll conducted by Marist, a nonpartisan poll with a string of surveys that of all the GOP candidates, of all likely voters, not just Republican voters, going head-to-head with Barack Obama, Ron Paul is the only candidate to push Obama below 50%. He comes in 10% below Obama of all likely voters, 48 to 38%, but he's 2 points ahead of Mitt Romney and 4 points ahead of Rick Santorum and 11 points ahead of Newt Gingrich. So he is the one candidate that can win against Obama. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it, because guess what? Not only the Republicans get to vote in November, everyone else does. And unless you're going to plan on getting some of those Democratic votes, you're going to lose. So if you cast your ballot for any other Republican candidate, you might as well light it on fire and say this means nothing. Because it's no longer the lesser of two evils, because guess what? There's more than 2 choices. You don't have to choose between vanilla and chocolate. You can have strawberry, you can have Neapolitan for all I care. This is America. You have the rights, not the government. Moving right from the Super Tuesday GOP race, we're going to get into something I saw early this morning on the Drudge Report. I'm not sure if anyone saw it, but the headline for, I would say, about an hour was Usama Bin Laden's body not dumped. I saw that, got home for lunch, and decided to check Drudge on my desktop. I had checked it on my phone, and it had rolled off the Drudge Report. Was nowhere on the recent headlines, was nowhere. Could not find it on the Drudge Report. A little bit strange. I found it because you can find anything with a little bit of searching. This comes to us from The Telegraph. WikiLeaks. Stratfor bosses thought Osama bin Laden body was flown to U.S. Now this comes to us from WikiLeaks, who got information from Anonymous, who hacked the private intelligence agency Stratfor, which some call a under-the-radar CIA or a private unchecked CIA. And they basically said, and this comes to them from one of the vice presidents, that they heard that that Usama bin Laden's body was put on a CIA plane bound for Denver, Delaware, and sent to the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology in Bethesda. Goes over it a couple times. They hear the news about it being dumped in the sea, and they still say, sounds a little fishy. Well, this article itself says allegedly killed. After he was allegedly killed. Why would they say allegedly killed in 2011 by our special forces? Well, because I believe, and there's a lot of proof to it, is that Usama bin Laden died in December of 2001. This guy's crazy. This Jay-Z doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a dang conspiracy theorist. Next thing you're going to tell me is that the United States had a role in setting up Al-Queda to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan in 1979 and 1980 by Zbigniew Brzezinski. That's crazy talk. Well, let's go to the record. First, we're going to start with pre-9/11. From The Guardian, CIA agent alleged to have met bin Laden in July. 2 months before September 11, Osama bin Laden flew to Dubai for 10 days of treatment at an American hospital. Remember that, American hospital. And he was visited by a local CIA agent that everyone knows. Okay, well, that's because he was a CIA agent. That's because he probably still was at this time a CIA agent. That's because the bin Laden family gets all of the construction contracts to build United States military bases in Saudi Arabia. That's because the bin Laden family was with George H.W. Bush on the day of September 11th and were transported safely out of the country while all other air traffic was shut down. The bin Laden family was allowed safe passage from America to Saudi Arabia on September 11th and the days following it. But if you don't believe The Guardian that Obama met with a CIA agent, well, let's go. New York Daily News. This comes to us December 26, 2001. Taliban officials say illness killed Osama. Well, said that he died of an illness, a lung illness that everyone admits that he had, and he supposedly had a dialysis machine. He died in Tora Bora a week before December 26th, December 19th, right at the end of the United States attack and battle at Tora Bora with Al-Queda and the Taliban, where they captured a bunch of Taliban and Al-Queda fighters, flew them to Guantanamo, but somehow, miraculously, a man with a dying liver carrying a dialysis machine was able to get away from our special forces in the mountains of Afghanistan. You know why he was able to get away? Because he was dead. Because he was dead. You don't believe that? You say these are all liberal rags? Okay, this comes to us from Fox News. December 26, 2001. Report. Bin Laden already dead. Usama Bin Laden has died a peaceful death due to an untreated lung complication, the Pakistani Observer reported. That is the Pakistani Observer. That is a record, a paper of record in Pakistan. They've got no reason to lie. And guess what? When they reported that, guess who didn't refute that statement? Al-Queda. Al-Queda and the Taliban never came out and said, Osama Bin Laden did not die. The Pakistani Observer is lying. Why? Because he did die, you idiots. Our government needed him alive because they needed him to be the boogeyman, to pass the NDAA and the TSA and the Patriot Act and get in your pants and listen to your phone calls and install cameras at every intersection and at the park across the street from me. Give me a break. One more, New York Times, A Nation Challenge. Pakistani says Bin Laden may be dead of disease. This came from General Musharraf, President Pervez Musharraf of Pakistan, said Osama Bin Laden died in December of 2001. Well, there you go. You've got all the links below. Please check them out. Click on them. Do your research. Remember, he was working with our government in the 80s. So is it that hard? Knowing that, is it that hard to believe that he was working with our government up until and into the 2000s? It's called the Great Game. You install one side to fight the other side. They go at it. You're basically playing both sides. You get to come in and either play the good guy or destroy whatever's there and take those resources and install yourself. In Qatar, in Yemen, in all of the Middle East, what do we have? We have more bases in the Middle East than anywhere. We have the most expensive military base ever built in Iraq. In Iraq! Not in Colorado, not in Kentucky, not in New York, not in Texas, not in San Diego, in Iraq. They spent more money on a base in Iraq than in your own damn country. Do you get it yet? Jay-Z signing off saying good Super Tuesday. Ron Paul will be in St. Charles this Saturday, March 10th, 3 to 6 at Lindenwood University. Look it up, find it out, come meet me there. See the greatest, most liberty-loving person ever to speak in front of you. He is a hero and a national treasure, and we should treat him as much. Jay-Z saying, I'm out of here, Flashpoint Radio is over. God bless, keep your eyes to the sky.